Hey everybody, it is Thursday and it's my day off, but I still wanted to let you know that your youth pastor or whoever I am to you is still alive and well. It's been a confusing, somewhat interesting day, so I woke up this morning and very quickly I realized my kids were stir crazy. About every 10 minutes, someone was annoying someone, and then said person would hit other person. So I think we had a few punches, a few kicks. I think at one point someone got stabbed with an eraser, but the boys are fine. They were incredibly stir crazy. I took them outside and tried to run them like disobedient horses around the neighborhood. It was really cool, actually. We went outside and I let them pick where we were walking, but I've never seen them walk or run so fast. They're kind of going stir crazy. So we just kind of walked around the neighborhood and then we got rained on and came back. Then other things that I did today was, since it was my day off, I tried to clean the house really well. Our philosophy during this whole COVID-19 thing has been a messy house is a stressy house. And so we've been trying to keep things clean. So that's going okay, I guess. My wife came home and stopped at the Asian grocer. So if any of you are looking for groceries, your Asian or local small grocery store probably has full shelves. Ours did. So we have like a 8-10 pound bag of rice.
25.
25, my wife informs me, a 25-pound bag of rice. That's good for eating and self-defense. She also brought a 4-pound bag of beans, but since no one's going to be around us, who cares, right? So we're doing okay. If all else fails, we have these feral cats that roam our neighborhood that we could potentially capture and eat. We still have crayfish in our backyard, so if we can catch them, we'll do some Louisiana cooking and boil those or something. So, in all honesty, the thing that hit me kind of hard today is if you are a part of the Grace Point family, Pastor Brady is sick, most likely with C19 right now. And that hit me kind of hard, as I'm sure it probably did you. All reports say that he's going to be fine. But man, I love our boss. We have a Christ-like pastor who's a phenomenal mentor, a wonderful man of God. And it's sad to me that he's been hit by this. And so for a lot of us, our worlds are going to continually change. And today I was thinking about a passage in Jeremiah. It's Jeremiah 29, but it's not the passage that you are used to. It's the passage right before that. So the context of Jeremiah chapter 29 is Jeremiah is writing a letter to the exiles. So in 597 BC, the people of God, Babylon came in, this invading nation, this big bully on the block, and literally conquered them as a nation and deported about 10,000 people into Babylon. Jeremiah had friends and family that were murdered, that were killed, and it wasn't a good thing. Obviously, as you can imagine, it was something that turned their world upside down even more than COVID-19 has turned my world upside down. And in that, here's what Jeremiah gives to them as advice. This is Jeremiah chapter 29. I just want to read verses 4 through 7. This is what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, says to all those I carried into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. Build homes and settle down, plant gardens and eat what they produce. Marry and have sons and daughters. Find wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage, so that they too may have sons and daughters. Increase in number, do not decrease. Also seek the peace and prosperity of the city to which I have carried you into exile. Pray to the Lord for it, because if it prospers, you too will prosper. So, what does this passage have to do with COVID-19? And am I telling teenagers to go out and get married and have kids? Absolutely not. Definitely, I recommend it someday. It's worked out really well for me, but probably not while you're a teenager. But what this passage is all about is for people who have just experienced tragedy. Jeremiah has some very specific advice that God's giving him for the people at that time. I think the meaning of this passage is still live life. Find things to enjoy, find things to have fun with. In the midst of tragedy, it's okay to try to move on with life the best you can. As a youth pastor, I'm finding out things are going to be completely different, but I can still meet with teens over Zoom. I can still send emails. I can still make calls. I can still try my best to enjoy my family. You probably noticed the 10-20 second break right before. My boys literally ran in here screaming, and I kind of kicked them back into the rooms and shut the doors to finish this video. So if you are going stir crazy with your kids, or if you're a teenager going stir crazy with your siblings or your parents, it's okay. Spend some time in separate rooms, read a book, come together, play a board game. After this, me and my wife are gonna try to make Middle Eastern food tonight. And so when hard times hit, still find time to enjoy things. I don't know. I may get sick, guys. I was around Pastor Brady yesterday. I borrowed his camera gear. If the sound's not as good today as it was yesterday, it's because I'm not using his microphone, because it possibly might have disease on it. So do the best you can with the life that God's given you. But the reason that Jeremiah and God gives that advice to us is not because we're to ignore the hard things or to ignore the painful things. I'm sure as the days go on, we'll talk about the biblical place of lament. But the reason Jeremiah tells the people to live life as normal is not because he's ignoring the situation, but because he's not ignoring God in the hardest time. Let me read the verse that you are familiar with that comes just right after the passage we read. This is Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. Then you will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all of your heart. I will be found by you, declares the Lord, and will bring you back from captivity. I will gather you from all the nations and places where I have banished you, declares the Lord, and I will bring you back to the place from which I carried you into exile. See, the reason as Christians we can still enjoy life even when it's handing us its worst is because, first of all, every day from God is a gift. My boys wrestling on the ground, punching each other because somebody got in somebody else's face, me having to run the boys around the neighborhood because they're about ready to drive me crazy, is a gift. A 25-pound bag of rice from our Asian grocer is a gift. And at the end of the day, every single breath that we have is a gift from God. But the number two reason why we can have fun even in the midst of tragedy is because God is faithful. C19 is an incredibly big deal, and it may cause a lot more pain to come for all of us. It may cause a lot more shift. It has the power to damage our economy, to hurt us physically. But at the end of the day, God will be victorious, and this will not be the end. Not the end of, probably will not be the end of my family, probably not the end of yours, and it will definitely not be the end of God's church. Thanks for listening, and I guess we'll see you soon.